So joining me at ExhibitorLive in Louisville, Kentucky is Joe Federbush from EVOLIO Marketing.
How you doing?
How are you, Joe?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So I attended Joe's session this morning on measurement. How do you actually measure trade show success? You know what you do, but how do you actually do it? And it was a fascinating session. So Joe, tell us, what are some of the mistakes that exhibitors are making when they come to measure trade show success?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake or way they could improve it is more planning and resources. You can't just throw a survey together and expect to get good results. You really do need to plan, understand what are the key objectives that you're trying to measure, and making sure that they're truly, truly actionable results that you can use to continuously improve your program.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And when they look at we talked about three things, which is return on experience, return on investment, return on objectives. So how are they actually different, and when should exhibitors be looking at planning these three things?
Yeah. I mean, we look at it as ROI, or the return on investment, should probably be the last thing you should worry about.
Right.
Reverse that and start with the return on experience, return on objectives. Obviously, you need to understand and define your objectives, as I mentioned before. Make sure they're attainable, make sure they're measurable, make sure they're realistic.
Yeah.
So once you start, having those objectives defined, then you can understand what's our success or return on those. From there, the next stage is the experience. You create the objectives, you set them, then you create your experience, make sure you're delivering on your experience, because think about it, if you're not really creating a great experience, how can you expect great results from like ROI?
Right. Excellent. All right. And you've been walking the show floor. What kind of trends are you seeing? What's new in the industry?
Definitely digital has become more, it's more affordable, because when you look at most of these booths here, even 10 by 10s or 10 by 20s, you don't have to be a big dog to be able to have digital walls in your booth and big giant digital displays versus hanging a heavy monitor.
Yeah.
So that definitely is something that's huge, because you can control the content. You can make it more eye-catching, more engaging, more interactive. You can have it play off of what your demos are saying. You can deliver message more interactive. Yeah. So that's the biggest takeaway. That's like what hit me when I first walked into the show floor. Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. And what kind of trends are you seeing in the industry right now? Obviously, we've come from the pandemic where everything was virtual, and now we've gone back to face-to-face. Are people still interested in doing hybrid events, or is the trend now just going back to normal events?
There's definitely a lot of return back to what we know. It's safe and it was effective. But what we're also seeing too is people are more cautious. Budgets are scrutinized more.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's more executive buy-in than there was pre-pandemic. I think for many companies, not all, but many companies, their executives see the value of face-to-face more than they understood, especially because they weren't getting much ROI from digital events only. From the hybrid perspective, I still see that about a third of my clients, at least that I could speak to, they're still doing something digital, having a digital component to their in-person event. So they haven't just gotten rid of it. They're just not doing what they had to do before out of necessity. Now it's more strategic, it's more thoughtful, it's more planned. It's more about continuing that in-person experience, to an online community, to really take advantage of what online has to offer that complements in person. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for joining me, Joe. Where can we find you?
You can find me at EVOLIO Marketing, which is EVOLIOmarketing.com. I'm always speaking at different events like ExhibitorLive, and it's great to catch up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lee.